So basically, this is a super high quality Star Realm set. It comes with score dials and a nice box, and the entire basically first block of Star Realms in foil. So it's the base set and the promo pack 1 and the crisis packs and such, all in foil. And our team has been working very hard to make the foils look the way we want them to look. And the process turned out to be trickier than we thought to get the effects we wanted. But we've, through many steps, if you've been following along with the Kickstarter updates and such, through many steps, we've finally gotten to where we want it to be. And recently we picked the foiling process that we like, and then painstakingly the graphics design team applied this to every single card, and with a lot painstaking detail. And then we, partially because we're late and we wanted to make the process more streamlined, we took the unusual step of getting proofs made with the actual machines that will print the final versions. Normally when you get proofs made, it's with a digital process, and the proofs are pretty good, but it's not the actual process. So there can be some differences between proofs and final. We basically had the factory do a round of proofs with the actual machines so that we could make sure that the process would work exactly the way we wanted it to. So we got the full set factory with the actual factory printing, and we're very excited with how they came out. I just posted an update on the Kickstarter page for it, but I have the entire set here, so I can show off basically any card you want. But I'll see if I can get this in focus. You can see this foil blob destroyer, and I particularly love the way the bases came out. I don't know if I can get this. It's tricky to get the light going correctly. Good. Can I get it in focus? Yeah. So we've got the entire set here in foil. I'm just trying. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I just want to add, like, the reason why we went in and did the detail was that way each card is optimized and looks as awesome as it can, because the team actually highlighted exactly which areas to make foil. And that was Randy and Callie. They did amazing work and a lot of all-nighters to make this happen.
Yes. So the events, the frame. Oh, sorry if I can get that. Sometimes it's hard to grab the focus. Here we go. The frame itself has the foiling effect. And for every card, so a lot of foils, the way they do them is they just make the entire card foil, or they'll just take something in the foreground and the background and make one side foil, one side not. And we tried a lot of different techniques. We used a lot. So with these, what we did was we took major items in the foreground, like the main focus, like the ship, will be mostly foiled. And certain effects in the background will have a foiling. There we go. We'll have foil, but there are cutouts for little lines or edges or shadows within the objects are foil or not foil to get that effect, to really get the effect we were looking for. I haven't seen that level of detail on any other game's foils, but as far as I can tell, it's a new process. Maybe somebody's done it exactly like this before, but through a lot of trial and error, we got to a process that there we go. Focus. We got an effect that we really like. And so, yeah, these cards are basically the exact final version. The only difference is these cards did not get the dehydration period that the final product will receive. So basically, when the final versions of the cards are printed, they actually dehydrate them for a significant amount of time. That's extra important with foil cards because of the multiple materials in the layers of the cards. Humidity can cause warpage. I don't know if you've ever seen a warped foil card from a game, but it's something we're really worried about. Actively, that's sort of one of our biggest concerns with this project. So we tried a bunch of different papers to see which ones were the most resistant to this. Obviously, there'll be the dehydration process, and we're putting in, in the rules some recommendations on how to store your cards. Basically, don't play in the sauna. But yeah, the effects that we got, I'm super, super happy with. So Randy Delvin especially worked insane numbers of hours getting these going. So there was much midnight oil burned.
Yes.
Let's see if I can get the focus. There we go.
He has worked so many hours and multiple all-nighters on these because we really wanted to get these in as quickly as we could, but it's a lot of detailed work.
And so on the gambits, one of the things we did, which was fun, was getting the edging on here. We did with just the foil. So instead of having the color difference that we have on the non-foil gambit cards, with these, we just pulled all the edging off, so it's a direct foil border. Get it into focus. Yeah, there you go. All right. And
are the foil cards any thicker than regular cards?
Yes. So basically, they're thicker in two ways. One, we used a slightly thicker paper. Basically, tried a bunch of different papers to see which ones were the most resistant to that warpage issue that foils are vulnerable to. And it ended up that one of the thicker papers performed better. And the foil itself makes the card slightly thicker. So these are thicker. So this is the stack, which it would probably be like a good 1.5 inches shorter with non-foil cards. So the answer is production starting tomorrow. The answer is no. We did find a couple errors. One was this was just an our bad scenario. So basically, I don't know if you can see this, but the foiling in these two icons here is slightly off. There we go. As you can see, the foil is just slightly off on those icons. So that's something that we're correcting. And then an error we found this was something we would not have found with digital proofs. On some of the gambit cards, which have this pure foil border, on the edge of the card, on this edge over here, there's a little blue coloration there. What happened there was ink from the neighboring cards on the print sheet. A little bit of that bled over onto the edge of the card. Now, if the card had a black border, that little bit of ink bleed would have been covered up by the black border. But with the foil border edge, that color bleed through obviously is visible because that's the only thing on that card edge. So that's something where the file that we submitted did not have that on there. It's just an issue of the ink on the foil sheet and how it reacted. So basically, that will be solved by actually physically changing the layout of the print sheet and making sure there aren't any cards with the border edge neighboring those. So we'll basically have some blank spots on the print sheet to correct it. So I think there were like 5 errors in total, 4 of which were these bleed related issues, and then the one printing. So we basically we got these cards a little over a week ago and been pouring through them and checking and making sure everything's good. So we did find a few errors. Those are being corrected, and then once we have those corrections, then we'll be going into mass production there. We took the time we had because we were doing this foil process to make some improvements to the box and other materials. So we're getting samples of those as well. I believe those are all going to line up at about the same time, and then we'll be going to production soon. My guess would be probably in about a month it'll take to get these errors corrected, and then printing will begin. We also, of course, have to line up with a time window with the factory, where basically the factory, once we're like, okay, we're 100% good, the factory's like, okay, we can schedule you in for week X, and then they print. And then, of course, there'll be the printing and the drying and the packaging and and et cetera. And we're not going to shortcut any of these steps, because especially the drying, because we really want to make sure these foil cards come out great. I saw there was a question that popped
Yeah.
up, but I didn't see what it was. Sorry. Is the foil also on text? So no. So basically, I'll show this for Oblivion if I can get in there. That basically we did not have any foil in the text itself. Basically, we tried foil text. It was hard to read. However, we loved the way icons looked when they were foiled. So if you check out this missile bot, if I can get it into focus, the text is, there it goes. The text is not foil, but those combat icons and the ally icon are foil. So those, you don't have to read them, you just see them and recognize them, and they look great in foil. So basically, there was a lot of iterations in our process of let's try these as foil, this is foil, and that not foil, and back and forth on on a ton of different things. I'm not exactly sure how long the drying process takes. I think it's like a week or two, but I'm not 100% sure. I have to check with the factory on that. But we certainly don't want them shortcutting that at all. Basically that's something I keep reiterating with the factory is we gotta take every step possible to avoid any of the card warping. Events, each player draws 3 cards, then put 2 of those cards back on top of the deck in any order. Yeah, so warp jump affects all players. Most events affect all players in the same way. Some events might affect one player, the player whose turn it is in one way, and other players in a different way. But events affect everyone. And in the case of warp jump, yeah, everybody gets the exact same effect. So so those are our cool shiny new toys. I'm super excited about them. I love the way they came out.